Hey folks, this is Ben Yessel. I'm gonna make one more video tonight. I know it's late. Yeah, so I'll see how much energy I have tomorrow. Try to get through everything okay. I just couldn't help but have one more video tonight, focusing a little bit more on Charles Dickens and my life in some respects, and many other folks that Charles Dickens books would probably apply to far more than me. I have been through some hard things, but again, I don't think I've been through as hard of things as many other people. It's funny because Charles Dickens isn't the most enjoyable person to read. I mean, he's not. It's not like you're reading J.K. Rowling, or it's not like you're reading C.S. Lewis. Yes, C.S. Lewis is definitely more of this case. Actually, C.S. Lewis is a lot like Charles Dickens, but Charles Dickens is profoundly wise. Profound. I mean, in a way that C.S. Lewis is as well. Both those men are very. They think about these kind of life things on such a deep and such a Alan Watts. I've been watching some of his stuff. Look, Dickens and Lewis think about all these things about life at that level, and then with Dickens, both make. I mean, they're just really, I mean, you cannot read a book by Charles Dickens and walk away the same person afterward. It's impossible. Now, it might not be very enjoyable, but if you read any book by Dickens, you're going to be a better person. That's just a guarantee. You're going to be better morally. You're going to be better. Uh, you know, you're going to be far more kind and charitable. You're going to be more thoughtful. You're going to be wiser, shrewder. You're going to be more intelligent. It's just, Charles Dickens talked a lot about certain things. Among the subjects that he addressed in his books were things, obviously, Oliver Twist. Young boy, no parents. Who are going to be his friends? Who he's going to look up to? you know, yeah, it's right then and there. I put myself in Oliver's shoes when I was younger, and it's always stuck with me. I don't mention Charles Dickens enough, but I should, and it's something I reread. It's I if you guys ever meet an orphan, I'm trying to think of how to put this. I don't know how common this was in England in earlier times, for instance. All I know is that what I was talking about earlier with not with losing that feeling of brotherhood and just brothers, we're all brothers and sisters, right? When you lose that more that kind of feeling, if a person loses that kind of feeling more, the innocence and the naivety and the sweetness of kids, the scary thing is even those qualities are not gonna even. There are some people that are so cold that even those qualities wouldn't even soften their hearts toward orphan kids. and kids that are in trouble and very vulnerable. This is the kind of world we live in. This is how evil the world is. There are many things that we should not dwell on too much, perhaps, in regards to how evil the world is. But I cannot stress this enough. If someone turns a cold shoulder to a kid who needs help in some respects, who really does need help, even if that means calling an agency to help the kid. If a person actually ignores a kid like that, that's actually really that's pretty serious in my book. Spiritually, I think that's not a light matter. That's very bad. Now, if you don't have a cell phone, you don't know what to do. There's all kinds of other things that changes the situation, I suppose, depending on the situation of the person. But Oliver Twist didn't have anybody to turn to. Abusive orphanage, fed gruel, bullied. His whole life was miserable. It was a little bit better in some respects living in Fagin's house with all the boys that were thieves. I honestly can't remember how the rest of the story goes. I wish I could. I just know that Charles Dickens, the story has really stuck with me, and there's many others, having to do with the. I don't know if it's David Copperfield or there's other books that I've read or I've seen movie adaptations of, where it explores a bit more of the nature of being younger and just being less aware of things, and just you could be taken advantage of still in some respects. I mean, yeah. But many of my dreams, and you guys have seen, if you guys have been following some of my videos, many of my dreams have involved feeling trapped somehow, or feeling like my situation wasn't going to improve for I don't know how long. Discouragement, depression of a sort, loneliness, of course, and I feel these things in my dreams, and whether, a lot of the visual things change from time to time, but I often don't dream about, I do dream about happy things, of course, but when I dream about things like more unpleasant employment, I don't really, when I dream about school, it's more like college, it's my social frustrations. It's rarely anything in terms of music and abilities. That's not really what I dream about so much. It's always something more social thing. And if it's one of my more unpleasant jobs, in some respects, it was always more. It's more of some jobs are more industrial, I suppose you could say, more warehouse type jobs. Do remind me very much of the Oliver Twist kind of situation. Although I've never worked in a shoe factory or a coal plant or anything like that. Nothing, a steel mill, nothing like that. But and I do think a lot of people work in those kinds of heavy industries. Depression must be a huge part of what they'd have to deal with. They're in a dark factory all day. Come on now. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so what I wanted to say was there are things I'm trying to, I guess, mention in this video that have to do with just my life experiences. whether or not I've had a good or bad attitude about things. It's just, I feel like sometimes I just dream about life experiences I've had. And I might go through all kinds of stuff for years on end, like many of you guys, about these things. And there's no telling when certain heartaches are going to end. I suppose they'll end when I figured out how to get rid of whatever's in my psyche that was ever, not so nice to begin with. But and some part of this is spiritual, I know, but and you can talk about like the atonement of Christ and things and how that applies to suffering and things. And I know that all applies, but most, it's just, how do you make it real? I don't know. I suppose, but this is what religion means. This is the meaning. This is what it really means. And for me, maybe sometimes just simply sharing these things with you guys on YouTube, even talking about it out loud, is better than keeping it inside. And in a way, it's religious, but it's a kind of it's therapeutic. I don't know. There's a lot of words that don't even describe it. It's kind of like there are experiences we all go through. They might vary from person to person a bit, but some of them are particularly difficult to get past or to fully resolve emotionally, spiritually, internally. And it's fine. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Look, I am the last person that's going to ever consider that it's a bad to hold on to something for a long, long time that can be get rid of. I don't know if that's the right word we should be looking for. Some things are too involved to have a simple judgment of good or bad. I just know that at some point we want to get rid of all this stuff to be happier. It's like weighing us down, right? And it's an extremely spiritual thing. It's extremely spiritual, extremely emotional. That's precisely what I'm talking about. It's the meat of what religion is. It has to do with happiness and things. So whatever's weighting us down, and there's a lot of things that can weigh us down, and one of those things has to do with the crud we go through. And so I don't know, I really would appreciate comments here, because I know a lot of things. Question is, I suppose we'll stop suffering when you have moments, you have times when you're not suffering in this life. One can only hope. Ultimately, it's just the feeling that one of the things that always helps is that it's kind of the feeling that you have when whatever you're trying to do that's right. It's the feeling that it's not ignored, that your struggles are going to be for your good in the future. I guess it's something along those lines. It's going to increase your understanding. It's going to increase your soul. But some part of this ties back with what we're talking about with a Star Trek movie I remember seeing, where Spock's brother is super emotional and invites the Enterprise crew to a world where he thinks there's a god or gods that live there, that are going to help them achieve some kind of spiritual bliss or nirvana or something. But Captain Kirk tells Spock's brother that because Spock's brother is explaining that in order to do this, they have to, lose their some, I don't know if it's a memory or if it's they all memory of all their heartaches and things, so along those lines. And Captain Cook says, I don't think I want to lose memory of my heartaches or the things that haven't been so great in life. They've helped me become the person that I am. If I were to lose those things, what kind of happiness is that? So it's kind of like the problem of pain of C.S. Lewis. Pain totally stinks, but if we endure it well, we'll be better people, wiser, more like God. The whole idea, by the way, is to be like God. That's the whole end all be all. And of course the question is, what is God like? And so I don't want to talk about religion here, but this is the very definition and meaning of religion. It has to do with the nature of happiness. It has to do with the nature of our potential. The limiting factor we have ultimately is ourselves and sin and pain. If pain is, there's a purpose to pain, there's a purpose to guilt and things, but the purpose is, it's not something that one should eternally experience. There will be a time when it is resolved, everything. So the time that it's resolved, what's going to be our state, kind of thing. How will we be as people? That's the question. But, I just, some of the dreams I've mentioned here do seem a little bit gloomy or a little bit, again, like I've been locked into a certain situation. Or maybe I just don't know my other options or not thinking about them. I'm very timid to explore other options, maybe when I was younger. Maybe I'm not very gutsy about that kind of thing. Maybe as I get older, hopefully I'll get more gutsy or, I don't know. I think what I'm trying to say this also in summary of this video is that there's a part of, I think, many of us that should identify with an orphan kid or with someone who is just going through some stuff. And there's a part of us that maybe does feel like we're trapped in a shoe factory or in a, we want to go up to the person and say, please, sir, can I have some more? And be rejected or whatever. Well, that might be something like, you're expecting a promotion, or are you expecting something at an office situation, and offices are more maybe cheery because they have brighter interiors, everything's very clean. But maybe you were expecting something to happen that way, and it didn't. I'm also picturing, the show The Office, and all this stuff, I know. Maybe you're expecting some presents, birthday, The Office, maybe you're expecting some, again, a promotion, maybe you're expecting something, and it just didn't happen the way you thought it would. Maybe there were a few of your coworkers that gave you little things, but you felt let down. And so when you came into your home, you had more of a real birthday, or you had more of a whatever. And if you're single, hopefully, I don't know. It's just in that kind of situation, you could also feel like, I don't know how many people feel this way, but I think a lot of people feel unloved and unappreciated, and not sure how to get out of feeling that way. On some level, I'm sure this is the case for so many people. And it's one of my very human frailties and weaknesses, and not something that I'm very happy about. I don't do enough nearly enough to ease the burdens of other people this way. I don't reach out enough. Imperfect as I am. And I know there's always ways out of the boxes, either through mental, emotional, whatever. There's ways out. It's just sometimes it's very hard to find your way out. And it can be almost impossible in a way. For me, my imagination has been one of my greatest ways of getting out of that stuff. And then my family as well. But I know that there's unseen forces still at work that are helping me. It's just that I've known some very cruel people as well at some level. Where it's not what I'm doing. Although I will admit, working in a coal mine or steel mill for whatever reason, that does seem pretty depressing to me. I just, I wouldn't, I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe some people find it invigorating. I don't know. So, anyway, I've had dreams where I was working at some kind of blue-collar job, and I was trying to keep busy by doing something, whatever it was. And if I've actually had jobs like that before in real life, at least a few of them, but in my dreams it's like a gigantic field that's kind of sloped, and there's a bunch of mechanical things in some area, and there's a bunch of concrete kind of thing or wood or something. But then there's like a big factory in one area of, whatever it is, it's just kind of a work area, almost like a hard hat thing, more or less. Whatever it is, it's not pleasant work at all. And here I am, picking weeds and sweeping and stuff, and not really doing a whole lot of the heavy labor, or maybe not unsure of if that's my job. And it makes it even more weird. It's a dream and stuff. Job description, but I've had those dreams. I still do. I don't know when they'll end. I don't know when. Other kinds of dreams are similar to that. Of, I don't know if they're not necessarily unpleasant. They can be, but there are far more things. There are definitely things that are far more unpleasant than these kinds of things. Or dreaming I'm working in a music store again. But it's weird, I don't know. I've just, like you guys, there's a lot of things that are not very clear to me. I just know that there are powers, there are entities that are aware, very, very aware of us. Like God, I have faith in God. I know that He exists. I know that He's aware of us. I know that He loves us, and I know there's going to be an end to our suffering, or whatever it is that we just don't like right now. There will be a time when that's over and done with. I think it's just trying to find the happiness right now, trying to deal with what we can and leave the rest to God. Anyway, leave me thoughts and comments below. I'll catch you guys later.